Good morning, folks. I'm out here checking on my garden, and a few weeks ago I did a video about cover crops. So there's some stuff happening, so we're going to check out what my cover crop is doing, what I'm seeing that's really good, what I'm seeing that I wish would be better, stuff like that. But want to remind you, one of the key points of cover crops is you want at least, well, I don't have 7 fingers, but you want at least 7 species or kinds of plant in your cover crop. So basically what that means is you don't want stuff related to each other. Like you don't want 7 kinds of brassicas. They're all kind of doing the same thing. So you want 7 different kinds, unrelated species. And you can have related species, just I wouldn't consider them as a different kind. It'd just be like, well, actually I can't think of an example right now. But let's look at the cover crop, see how it's coming up and how things are changing. Alright, so as a reminder, this is what the ground looked like when the chickens were done with it. It was brown, no growth. You can look at the old video. So over here, I did not lay any cover crop down. And then as we go this way, you see all that green, that's where cover crop was put down about a week and a half ago. And it's greening up real nice. So let's get in a little bit closer and see what we've actually got here. We'll go in this nice little dense spot right here and we'll identify a few things. So if you remember, I put down some black-eyed peas. That's this guy right here. Oh man, those are nice soft leaves too. Also, I had a bunch of leftover honeydew seeds, and that's going to be this guy right here. And so these are both going to be like kind of viney, tangly plants, which is not necessarily ideal. That looks like a soybean actually right there. That's cool. And then of course we've got some brassicas here. I think this might be a daikon radish. And then we've got some smaller ones here. That's probably a collard green. And then also we've got our grasses coming up. These are my black oats, Cossack black oats. And so that's pretty cool. Oh, and here we have a couple of lentils. So let's see, what is that? We've got 3 legumes popping up right in this little spot. We've got our oats, and we've got 2 kinds of brassicas coming up. And so that's 5 different species. So let's check out some more stuff. If we look really close, there's a bunch of little stuff. I don't know what that is. I don't think it's like, I know I put some lettuce in there, and there's a bunch over here. So I'm not sure what that is, but I'll take it. It's going to cover the ground, so there's probably some type of wild weed that's just popping up. It may even be Mexican clover, which would be really cool because I know for a fact chickens love Mexican clover, and I did a video about weeds that my chickens like, and so that'd be great if that's what it is. And then I'm also seeing these little tiny grasses. I'm not sure what these are, but they could be just bahia or something else, but there's some like skinnier ones too, but a bunch of different kinds of grasses. See, this is an oat right here. They come up pretty big and strong. But these other little tiny grasses that are popping up are definitely different kinds. See that right there, that's an oat. And you can tell it's an oat because if you look really close, I don't know if I can get it focused well enough, but anyway, there's little tiny stripes down the length of it. Whereas a lot of these other ones are just kind of a plain green color. So the reason I'm very unscientific about cover cropping is because I don't really believe it's really a science. I think, for me anyway, that takes all the fun out of it. If you got to follow rigid procedures and whatever, and I just don't believe that nature can be. You can't really just isolate things and say apply this and it's going to work. Like nature doesn't work like that. So the concept I'm going after is I want plants, I want roots in the soil feeding my soil microbes. So, sorry, I got a text that was good news. But anyway, so plants in the ground feeding soil microbes and basically cycling the carbon. And so the chickens have laid down some fertility that's given these plants a little bit of a boost, something to work off of, and a foundation of fertility for them to make the ground even more fertile. And so as we run these chickens back over this, it's just going to be the cycle is going to continue, and it's going to compound, and the cycle will grow and be more productive as it spins, as the cycle goes around and around and around of this life, pulling energy from the sun, putting that energy into the ground in the form of sugars, feeding microbes, those microbes making nutrients available back to the plant, and growing and growing and growing. And so why do I care about that right here? Well, I've got my trees all along this. This is called alley cropping here, and then also, I don't know, alley, raising chickens on the alley. But basically the alley between rows is a productive thing happening. And so because I can't put chickens right on that tree, they would destroy it. I'm going to put them next to it, and those roots will reach out into this zone here, and they will begin to interact with those microbes, and I actually am going to get my chickens as close as I can to these trees without harming them, and it's going to create a symbiotic relationship with the chickens, the plants, their fertility, and cycling things through. And the goal of all this is to get my chickens completely off of feed. And so it's not something I want to do overnight, but it's something I'm going to build up to as the cycle becomes stronger and stronger and stronger and begins to reach its fullest potential. I think there will be enough food for the chickens being produced that they can actually eat this. So before I go on with that for too long, there's another thing I want to show you with this cover crop. Alright, so I've also got some sweet potatoes in here, and they actually do have pretty extensive roots. But what I want to show you is recovery of plants that were already here. So this is some St. Augustine, and let me tell you what, it's tough. It's got these real gnarly roots just under the ground, but chickens like it. You know, the fresh green growth. You know, it's tender, and they like to eat that. And so even though St. Augustine grass is kind of like the typical basic Florida, you know, groomed front yard grass, it's still being utilized by the chickens. So I'm not going to worry about it too much, because it is very resilient and it keeps coming back. And I think as long as I'm putting you know, some chicken pressure on it, it's not going to take over. And as long as I'm putting some seed down, we're going to have a diverse piece of ground with plants for the chickens to eat. And so I'm seeing some other weeds pop up like that right there. I'm not sure exactly what that is, but it looks like it could be a legume. I'm not 100% sure on that though. So I'm seeing stuff begin to fill in, and this has probably had 2 or 3 weeks of rest. So it's pretty cool seeing all this other stuff. See, like all this, there's so much St. Augustine in here, and I think there's some Bahia as well. And things are really popping up. And there's a black-eyed pea that's actually already blooming. So that's really, really, really good to see. Just after a few weeks, we're already getting, actually that's probably been there a month or so. So we're already getting some growth. The sweet potatoes are putting on growth. And so when the chickens come back over this should be completely covered over with green. And there'll be lots of different things for them to eat. And not only that, insects, protein, are going to be living in this habitat that I've created because it's diverse. It provides cover for them, but the chickens are going to come in, destroy the cover, eat all the insects. So this whole system is really, really exciting to me. It's fun seeing greenery fill into this brown space, and this is something that needs to be tweaked and you know, adjusted as I see things happening. So I got to come out here and observe and see what's going on and see how it responds to chickens being on it. And I'm basically rotationally grazing my chickens in a chicken tractor, and they're actually over on the side of the house today because there's a bunch of grass I didn't want to mow, and so I'll put them on it. They'll beat the heck out of it, and I'll pull them off, and that grass will actually come back really strong. So this is something that anyone can do in any backyard. You know, if you have a really small backyard, you could even scale down to quail. I had quail back here. They did well. They weren't as productive as I would have liked them, but I think that's just because I got redneck genetics, if you know what I mean. So if you order some from a reputable place, not some random guy on Craigslist, then you'll probably have much more productive quail. So anyway, that's what's been going on with this cover crop, and I'm just very excited to see the greenery. Just, you can see it over here, just filling in and popping up and being very vigorous. So that's food for my chickens. All right, y'all have a great day. I hope you guys put some seeds in the ground today, because if you don't, you're missing out. So you got to plant those seeds, and then they'll grow into something good for you.